What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of IFTV. This one I feel like is not going to be as fun. The atmosphere is not going to be... At least I don't think so. Because it is the aftermath of what happened. I don't even want to say yet. But to give some context. Italy finished second in the group to Switzerland, which made them go to the FIFA World Cup playoffs, which put them in the situation to go to a semifinal and a final, 2 must-wins to reach the World Cup. They got drawn with North Macedonia, which we streamed the game for, and obviously you guys know the result. The Azzurri have been eliminated from a 92nd minute goal from Trajkovski, which sent the Azzurri home, and now it's back-to-back World Cups Italy will not be present for, and I feel like this is a huge, it's not that I feel like it's a huge disaster, it's a huge devastation, and I think it's just the beginning of a nightmare for what this could lead to calcio, to the Azzurri, and for the future generations, unfortunately. But guys, here across from me, we have Antonio, we got Ludo, of course. We brought our good friend Wayne. I try to keep it the same as last week because I thought we had a very good conversation for the most part. A little long, but a lot of people did appreciate it, being almost 2 hours. But a lot of people love the dynamic of all of us sharing our thoughts and all that stuff. So I was like, let's do it again. And of course, everyone loves Wayne. Why wouldn't they? Wayne's great. And
I'm not paying him, I swear.
I'll send you the check after. But guys, yeah. Let me just lay off the stage a little bit for this match, and then we can slowly talk about what went wrong for this match, and then we can talk about some other topics that I have prepared. So Mancini, for the most part, played the lineup that we expected, considering some players weren't 100% and all that stuff. Also, North Macedonia had their best player, Elmas, injured, which was favorable for the Azzurri, but unfortunately that was not enough. And Italy had the majority of the chances, the majority of the possession, and that wasn't enough. They also played in Palermo at home for Italy, and that also was not enough. It seemed like Italy had everything, but what they lacked was that killer instinct in that final third, a killer of a striker, or that killer finish, last touch to give Italy the goal, and that's what they were chasing the whole game. And as the time kept progressing, we're getting even more nervous. Then Macedonia had their first real chance in extra time, which really punished Italy and sent them home. I think it was like a stab in the heart for everyone watching, at least all the Azzurri fans watching, saying, "Wow, back-to-back losses for the World Cup in terms of not being there." But I want to lend this off.
Cut through the chase.
I want to lend this off for a second to Ludo. Ludo, what you think? Just solely on the match. We can talk about the other stuff after. But what you think of the match, and what do you think went wrong?
What I think went wrong is that yes, we did have the possession, but it was sterile possession.
Mm-hmm.
These passes, horizontal. To me, they're meaningless. They waste time. We were very slow in the maneuver, in the build-up, and we lacked vertical calcio.
Mm-hmm.
We did not have a man or two that could take on an opposing man 1v1 and try to create superiority in their box. We lacked that, and I believe we took the first shot after 35 minutes. I believe we took the first shot on goal, and I believe that a couple of players that were not in shape should not have started, and Mancini knew who they are because he gets a report from the respective team. And he gets a report from the national team doctors. who's in shape and who's not. I believe that the subs came in too late, and everyone knows that in sports in general, 90 minutes, regardless of the sport, it could be basketball, it could be football, calcio, any sport, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. Then you could play that team 9 more times, and you are going to win. You are going to beat them because you are better technically and more experienced, and you have a better players. But absolutely no excuse on what happened on Thursday. And Mancini, I think, could have done better in selecting certain players. The subs could have been earlier, and that's what I blame. Mancini for. Macedonia played the perfect Italian match.
Yeah,
compact, waiting, and at the right time.
For sure.
When to go up, when to drop. Compact, and they knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and they knew exactly what Mancini was going to do. And that's also what I blame Mancini. You're the captain. You're the captain of the ship. You know your crew. You got to be able to change things around a little bit. You got to be able to create. But he didn't have the man on the bench to do that in that particular game, relying on that group that thought that they were going to take him to the world. He made the same mistake like his predecessors did in the past. We'll talk about that later.
Anto, what do you think of solely based on the match?
Okay, well, of course I agree with Ludovico, but I want to add a few things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be here starting to praise Macedonia for the very good lucky situation that they found themselves in. It's more what we didn't do than what Macedonia did. This is what I see myself right now, with all the Italians just looking from outside in a position that we should be dominating international soccer. So the only minor thing that I kind of disagree with Ludo, it's I blamed more Mancini's mentality of bringing the subs late, because I think Mancini on his head, he had already something that told him. I said, hey, by the way, let me hold on bringing the subs in, because we might very well go to overtime, and then maybe we're going to try to exploit the freshness that we have with the new sub that he brought in vis-a-vis Tonali,
Joao Pedro.
Joao Pedro
came in the 90th minute, I believe.
Right, with Chiellini.
Chiellini had to come in because Mancini got injured, he brought even Raspadori because he thought that that we were sterile on the front line, and that's what I think his miscalculation was there. But I am more disappointed that we didn't get the job done. But I'm not here to praise Macedonia, because Macedonia did nothing to deserve to win. They won, and they got lucky. They won, and I take my hat to them. But I'm not going to be here praising their way of playing soccer. There was no proposition over there. There was just building up the wall, parking the bus, and hoping for a mistake that we made.
I don't think they parked the bus.
No, me neither.
I don't think they parked the bus. I think they were very compact. They were very
never challenged.
I think they played for the most part very strategic. They definitely did their homework on Mancini, and
based on their abilities.
Listen, you get, first of all, your best players out. Second of all, you're the underdog, so you expect them to play that defensive football, and they played that excellently, like Ludo was saying before. They kept the trident of the Azzurri from really attacking, and their center-back partnership did not let anyone leak in. I think Berardi was the only one that had a real sniffing goal inside the area. But other than that, they were very, very sound for the most part. Wayne, I know you didn't see it with us, so what was your perspective overall on the match? And were you nervous on it beforehand?
I was. Going into it, I just got that feeling that whatever could go wrong was about to go wrong. Mm-hmm. And, as I'm listening, I was fixing a drawer. So I watched part of it, and then I was listening to it on radio, because as I saw the way they were playing, I was just like, I have stuff to do, so let me continue working. I was fixing a piece of my kitchen, and it got more discouraging. I'm listening, I'm getting more frustrated because I can hear that something's wrong. And I look at halftime, and there's a lot of shots. And I'm like, what about shots on target? What about the quality? And as the match ended, it was, I think, something like 34 shots.
Yeah.
But
How many were on target?
at how many on target? I think it was like 4 or 5. And that is such a bad indicator of the quality of this side that, yeah, they can get around the top of the 18, take shots off, but what about actually doing something important with your possession? I think we touched upon that too. So to me, it's such a big drop off, and I think we're going to get to this in a little bit, but the quality of players that were on the pitch, and Ludo made a point about, well, Mancini is with these players every day, or, you know, leading up to it. He's in the camp and he gets the reports from the team. Why is he not making better choices based on the fitness of these players?
Yeah.
It's so clear that Barella for the past month has been exhausted, maybe even a little bit more at this point. So why is he starting? Why is somebody like Caprari not called up, who has, I think, maybe the 3rd or 4th most take-ons in the league, just behind Leao? It's not a big drop-off.
And around 17 goal involvements compared with goals and assists. And he should have, just based on meritocracy, I agree, he should have at least gotten called up. I'm not saying for him to start or something.
But something to run behind the defense.
I agree.
It's mind-boggling, yes. The quality that was on the pitch to me screamed, one, that there's a much bigger issue at play, but also that they need to do something more from top to bottom, that there needs to be a revolution in Italy at this point in time.
And yeah, Wayne, I agree with you on that part. You're walking into do you want to say something really quick?
No, I just wanted to add, I think Mancini, going back to his predecessors, Bearzot in 1982 did the same thing. In 1986, he took that team because, you know, they won the World Cup. So I said, let me bring these guys here in 1980, in 86, and you know, we know what happened. And then also we had a great 1990, and then we got 1994. We got to the final, and it happened again in 2010. So it did happen a couple of times. And Mancini said, okay, these are the people that won the European Cup. I got to give them trust. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that are going to take me to the World Cup. Yeah. And that's a mistake that was made already in the past. And I feel that we didn't learn from that. Say, okay, this is Macedonia. We have to beat Macedonia. I mean, it's not the Sweden of 4 years ago, which was, we came in second 4 years ago behind Spain. But Sweden had a great World Cup in 2018. So this is Macedonia. So now these guys that came through in July, they're going to take us to the promised land. And that then I felt that he made that mistake the same way his predecessors did in the past. Yeah,
Ludo, well said on that, because I do want to talk about Mancini. There's been a lot of talk. I mean, even on the live, we've been saying we expect him to step down, put in his resignation within the next few days. Obviously, we didn't see that. He still is the head coach. A lot of people saying that want him to stay due to, you know, the good work he's done, and this could be built upon, but other people are saying that he should step down, and there's actually a lot of reports with different coaches that are available. I want to read them. Cannavaro is one, and Lippi would be the technical director. It's being reported, but let's just say Cannavaro has not coached a European side or top quality. He's been in China, in the Middle East. The next option is Roberto De Zerbi, who's
coaching in
Ukraine with Shakhtar, which is an interesting take. A lot of people like him because he has a very modern philosophy and plays at attacking football. And the other two options are Gattuso and Pirlo. But before we move on that, I just want to ask you guys, should Mancini resign, and why? For me, I think personally, you got to appreciate what Mancini has done, especially with the Euros. An underdog, Italy weren't supposed to win it, but he's done it. But I think he rested on his laurels too much. As Ludo was saying before, you put in the stress on these players, but you know well in fact that you won the Euros without a real striker. Let's say it as it is. And you knew that was the problem. And instead of fixing that problem, you give him the captain's armband and hope he will take this country on his side and score and do something. But that's not a liable option. We knew what Immobile could bring. A lot of people were hoping he could break out of it. But time in and time out again, he's been giving the same performances for the Azzurri that haven't been amounting to anything, which have been hurting the Azzurri. So my question for you guys, I want to ask Anto first. Should Mancini resign? For me, yes. I think that Zerbi could be a good option. Anto, what do you think?
I think Mancini should have resigned the same day that we lost against Macedonia. And not because I do not appreciate the quality of the work that he put through and the fact that he won the European, but it's for the failure to read the actual condition, the situation that we had in front of us. You know that we have problems scoring. Yeah. You know that we have lethargic forwards. You know that Scamacca is not well. Why you don't back yourself up with people that they have the quality, like Ludo said before, to take the man 1v1 and do some damage? This Immobile, this Insigne, all of those. Berardi is one of my favorite. Berardi was one of the few trying all the time. Very unlucky on the chance that he had. He got the ball from the goalkeeper and he didn't score. But Berardi was working his ass off the whole game. But this Insigne, this Immobile, this Belotti, this Verratti, all of those lethargic players. And Cassano said it very well. Not because Cassano is one of my favorite players. I know what Cassano was able to do. And I know what Totti was capable to do, what Baggio was capable to do. Those people, you cannot really read them. Pirlo. Those are the people that they made the history of the Italian soccer until a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying to you is Mancini having the quality to be a great player and a very good coach up to the qualification of up to the flop that we had with Switzerland. He should have known how to just assess the situation. The fact that you won the Euro with those people and the fact that you know that those people, they don't have the quality to point and to press and to exploit what we were lacking of, you didn't do it. So for that particular reasons only, he should be resigning immediately, right there on the spot. I will give it to him, let him play Turkey right now, just to save the face that at least I did my job up to the qualification. Then just write a nice letter. I appreciated your trust that you have given to me. He doesn't need to apologize because I'm sure he meant well.
Yeah, of course.
He had nothing but gracious attitude. I'm sure he meant well, but his cycle is over. His cycle is over. We cannot really keep trusting him, not because the word trust is a heavy word. I cannot really be trusting Mancini because Mancini, to me, he has shown lack of understanding of the critical situation that Italy was in, and he didn't do anything
to adapt
and to adjust, to make the adjustment. For that particular reasons only, I want him out. And Ludo said it very well before, his subs were too late.
Yeah, that was bad.
You do not fix a problem that you know for the first 45 minutes, and the game that they proceeded the first 45 minutes that we played with Macedonia, they exploit exactly the same thing. The problem were right there in front of his face. Again, Immobile doing nothing, Insigne doing nothing, Verratti trying to find somebody to exchange the ball and to do some damage up front. It never happened for 45 minutes. Okay, we go to the second half, another 10-15 minutes. That is over. Right there, you have to be able to make that kind of a decision. Don't listen to anybody, this guy that he has next to him, Oriali. Who the hell are those people? They did what they did 40, 50 years ago. That is over. Okay, I want a coach. That's why people that didn't like Sacchi, because Sacchi, he didn't care about anything and anybody. Sacchi said, hey, this is what I wanted to do. This is what you guys doing. If you do it, fine. If you don't do it, you out. It will sit you down. He didn't care about Baggio. He didn't care about Signori. He didn't care about any one of those superstars. I said, this is the style of soccer that we're here to play. I'm the coach. I'm in charge. And this is what you do. Mancini, it's not that it's not capable of doing that. He tries to keep more of a friendly environment.
Yeah.
You cannot have too many friends when you have on the line the qualification to the World Cup. And now we have Italy again watching the World Cup from the second time from the backside of the TV instead of being on the inside of the TV.
Yeah.
I just disagree with you in regards to Sacchi and Mancini. Sacchi had a great generation of players. The 90-94 World Cup, remember, semi-final 1990 in Italy, final 1994 in the USA. That was a great generation of players that you have the opportunity to, like you said, okay, you know what? I have somebody else that's going to take your spot. Mancini is coaching a generation of mediocre players, to my understanding. And also another generation of great players was 2006. And that's when everything changed in 2010. That the last 4 World Cups, 2 we qualified, we didn't get out of the group, and 2 we failed to qualify. So if we think by sacking Mancini, and I do believe he should leave, and I'll explain why in a bit. I think he should leave. But if we think a next coach is going to be a saint, and he's going to do miracles, and he's going to fix things, we are kidding ourselves. Because you can bring De Zerbi, you can bring anyone. De Zerbi, number one, I don't think he's going to accept. Even though he's my favorite, he's still young, and I think he's still needed, and he still wants to coach on a daily basis, club 365 days a year, club coach. I don't think he's ready for the national team. Even though we all like his style of play, like him, like Tudor, like Juric, you know, these types of coaches, we do like their Andrea Zoll, we do like their style of playing. But I don't think it's only Mancini the issue here. I think the issue is the system. The system, the Serie A, the calcio system in Italy is sick. I think it has cancer. And clubs fail to see it, and they fail to take charge because clubs do not care about the national team. They feel that the national team gets their players tired, they get injured, it's annoying, and they don't feel comfortable sending the players there. There's always been that fight.
So you were saying the clubs
do not support Serie A. Look how many presidents
do not support Italian national team, not Serie A.
No, they do not support. The Serie A clubs do not support the national team.
That's what I mean.
They're not on the same page.
I understand.
Look how
that.
many presidents were
I know.
of Serie A were present in Palermo.
There is not that fight and that pride that used to be there before, wearing the
Correct.
Italian national jersey.
It's annoying. For them, it's a problem. It's an issue.
Yeah, of course.
It's for them. So I think Mancini should leave because since July, Mancini in 8 games only has won 2 games out of the past 8. So now he used these players, Chiesa, Insigne, Immobile and Belotti, and using them for the national team and playing Serie A in the same period in Serie A. These guys, who had 0.12 goals per game on the national team, Insigne 0.21, Immobile 0.34, in Belotti 0.30, Berardi 0.26. Now, when you get to Serie A, they double. It doubles in Serie A. And Belotti, of course, and Berardi do not play international calcio. They're not in the international cup. So you see a problem here. You see a goal issue. You see a finishing issue with these players. You see that they're not in shape. You see that Immobile is not in shape. Insigne and a couple other players like Wayne was saying, Barella, they cannot stand up. Jorginho or Verratti, I think he played well on Thursday. I have to admit, I think he was one of the player that deserved the 6.5.
Should be captain.
And I think he played well last Thursday, Verratti. But some of these players, you have a problem here. Now, as you're the coach, how do you fix this? You need to find something. You need to change some cards. You need to change plays. You need to change style.
Formation.
You need to change formation.
Yeah.
You need to change something in order to not to have these problems. The goal issue that we had. And even the European Cup, we beat Belgium in the 90 minutes. We beat Austria in overtime. Spain on penalties. England on penalties.
So most of them were past the 90-minute mark.
Correct. Now September comes around, you tie against Bulgaria. And then, of course, you got the penalties that Jorginho missed. We want to blame the penalties. No, but it's
a bigger problem than just a single
penalty missing.
Exactly.
It's a problem that I feel Mancini failed to see because of the trust that he had on certain men, and he faced and he lacked seeing the alternatives.
Yeah.
What can I do in order to get to the promised land?
Yeah.
And then once I get to the World Cup, okay, Insigne, now I need you. Immobile, now, but get there first.
100%. And Ludo, for the people, because there is a lot of people that are blaming Jorginho based on a single penalty kick. First of all, no problems would be solved if Jorginho, yes, Italy would be in the World Cup if he scored that penalty. But the bigger it's a deeper problem than just a single penalty kick. Say he did score the penalty and Italy does go to the World Cup, but the problem is still the same. Italy lack that goal-scoring threat that they have there.
I don't know that this team was beating Portugal anyway.
See, that would have been a different... Even though Italy do usually perform against the bigger teams, you would say they'll definitely be interesting. But I don't want to go off topic. Wayne, what do you think in terms of the coaching side with Mancini?
You look at Mancini and what he's done. I think he set a record for the most wins and or not losing. Correct, the most in a row
Unbeaten
without
streak
losing. Unbeaten
for international coach. Yeah.
So he does something astronomical, and then he wins the Euros, and they play pretty good even without a striker. Everybody shows up, and he uses Immobile. He defended him at one point in time. He said yes, but what you don't see is that Immobile makes runs and he opens up passing lanes and he takes the center backs away from him, which helps players like Insigne and Chiesa do much better. And Verratti can move a little bit more forward and start to dictate the match and pass it around from there. So he had it figured out, but as time goes on, obviously what we see now, it's the train is completely off the tracks. And to me, he should have resigned immediately after the match because there's blood on his hands. And there's no denying that. But before we met today, I wrote down 3 things. I just want to read them off. I called it like 3 rules of the Azzurri. The one was philosophy, and I wrote, how will they play? Is it going to be like Klopp? Will it be Catenaccio? Will it be Guardiola? De Zerbi, Pirlo, who is going to, which style are the Azzurri going to play? And the one thing is just that you have to have a way, an approach, and that goes into rule 2. Let's say, of course, the best players will go. You always have to choose. Not always. We've seen coaches do well without choosing maybe the best players and choosing the group format above that. But if you have that philosophy, then you can plug in any player. Once they get to the national team, there's no surprise of how they're going to be playing. There's an understanding which stems down from the Azzurri into the club level, going into 3, that kind of like what Anto was saying, there needs to be synergy between the FIGC and the clubs. They have to support during international break. There has to be some type of much more chemistry than we see. Is it simplifying schedules throughout the season? Is the Azzurri boss represent or attending the practices and the matches on a typical basis? We know we see him in the stands here and there, but how involved really are they?
More dedication, you're saying, right?
Much more dedication. Yeah. And one thing that I think Ludo had mentioned or referred to before was the B teams. And I think the B team structure in Italy, if we compare it to La Liga and Spain, is that they have a much formal setup of their B team. So the way that we do it in Italy is players go out on loan. Typically, I know Juventus has their U23 that they use, but typically players go out on loan and they go play on a team which doesn't match their philosophy, the way that they play. So they become like this bargaining chip rather than a player who's seen as like a long-term investment. That to me is so wrong. Why aren't these players within the system? And I think of like Manchester City, who back in the day when they first had bought all these clubs together, NYCFC, a few, I believe one in Australia, and there was this top to bottom idea, right?
They're like feeder clubs and they all helped each other.
Yes, and they play the same way. There's an ethos. There's something much more about it. And if Italy and Italian teams can figure out how to make that efficient and get their teams all and their players all on the same wavelength, it would definitely help out the Azzurri. So it's not just a one issue. And like you said, Mike, if Jorginho scores that penalty, what does it really solve? Because what we have here is a long-term issue.
The problem would have remained. Correct.
The small problem is solved, but the bigger problem still is there.
Which has been there for the past 12 years.
Yeah.
And like Wayne was saying, 5 out of 11 U21 players playing Serie B. And the ones that play in Serie A, they see very little minutes. 3 leagues in Europe, Spain, Germany, and France, they play very young players, meaning 2002, 2001, 2003, and 2004. England, a little bit less. In Italy, they're not mature. they still got to be on loan. Oh no, they're not mature yet. We cannot bring them back. When do these players mature? I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'll be really quick and then I'll pass it on to somebody else. Napoli, we have two players, okay? One of them is one of my paisans, Gianluca Gaetano. He plays for Cremonese. Mike is my witness here. He's having a great season. He scored goals. He's one of the best players in Serie B. Every year he goes on Cremonese. He's 23. When is he maturing?
Yeah.
When is he coming back to Napoli? Why is he not coming back to Napoli?
He should be there right now.
He should be there right now. Another player, Zerbin, plays for Frosinone. Another great player, 22 years old. Oh, not mature enough. We can't bring him back. So when are they maturing? 25, 26? That's that confidence that we don't have in the young players. And Nicolato, the under 21 coach, cries every single day because his players do not have that experience. They don't play. They play in Serie B or they play in Serie A very little minutes, and he has problems on the field. Also, I wanted to mention another one. Italy under 21 has not won a European Cup in the past 18 years. Before that, we won 5 out of 7.
Wow.
So there's a message there. There's a story there that we're not capitalizing. I mean, what's wrong with this system? Why nobody sees the issues and we keep focusing, oh, he missed a penalty. Oh, he missed it. No, there are bigger issues here.
Much bigger.
Bigger issues here to fix.
Ludo, well said. I like the research that you did and it's spectacular. I think it's just on point. I want to add a few things. You guys are maybe too young to remember this. But talking about in the 70s, in the 80s, the Italian national team had the blocchi. You know what the blocchi is? Un blocco, it was, for example, 6 or 7 players
from one team.
6 or 7 players from Juventus.
Like Grande Torino.
You will see the Zoff, you will see Gentile, you will see Cabrini, you will see 6 or 7 Calcio, you will see 6 or 7 Bettega, you will see 6 or 7 players of the best team in Serie A just being the spine and the foundation for the national team. Then you add a few other from Napoli, AC Milan, Inter, Genova, Sampdoria.
The contorno, the side dish.
And you make a deadly combination. When we were having this kind of a philosophy, we, like Ludovico showed you over there, we, as part of the Italians, we were part of the equation. Now, the youths, they're not even part of that equation. Like Ludo said, we part them in Cremonese, we part them in Serie B with the hope that, they have exceptional quality. Some of the few coaches in Italy, thank the Lord, they still go and fish back into the younger squad and they bring some of those talent. They take their chances. Donnarumma was brought into AC Milan by Mihajlovic. If it wasn't Mihajlovic, Donnarumma will have 25 years old, will be 25.
He almost got fired. Mihajlovic almost got fired.
Right, yes.
16 years old, putting a goalkeeper 16 years old, they almost fired him.
Calabria, Gattuso, fished him over there and said, you playing right here. All of a sudden, little by little, no, Calabria is a national team player. Kalulu, fished from less than $500,000 from France, again, goes into youth squad, he becomes a big superstar. This is what we don't have in Italy, and this is what we need to do. We need to bring these young kids, but we have to force their hands. This is what I think is lacking. Somebody needs to force the hand of the big team. So, let me just tell it the way I mean, I might sound a little nasty, but this is what I will do. You are an Italian institution, okay? You're supposed to have 70% of your squad. Just open the door to everybody, but you're supposed to bring 4 or 5 of the youth every year and make them play, okay? If you don't do that, I'm not saying it should be 50-50. I'm saying that you have to bring 4 or 5 or 6 of the younger, the talent, the Primavera, and plug them in. The talent is there, they have it, and it's enough is enough. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what I will make it as a rule. You have to just have a certain number of players. You have to force the hands to the ownership of the Serie A to put them in.
Anto, that's a great point because I think the Primavera too, I think is the underlying factor to all this. I think it's a big key because if you see other national teams like France, like Spain, like Germany, they have such a huge selection of these youth players, and a lot of these younger Primaveras for their leagues get more playing time than Serie A. In Serie A, as Ludo
teams never won a youth league. We never won a youth league.
As Ludo was saying before, with the youth, they don't really, the U21s and the Azzurri, the younger national teams for Italy, they haven't been winning recently, and a lot of them have to do with them being scared to give the youth a chance because they're scared to make that mistake. Because it
doesn't happen in other
especially
places.
The mid-table teams and the relegation teams, they'd rather bring someone in. Like
the
someone
cake already made.
Exactly. The players that are already there, like a 27-year-old player, rather than risk and play a younger player in case he makes a mistake and we lose a point or something like
He's
this.
too young, has to mature, all of this nonsense.
But look a country like France. They have so much
Look at the under
great
21
youth.
France playing the other day. Look at those players and see where they're playing.
Even though the French league may not be
to?
the best league, but it's so much French youth that play a huge amount of minutes, and I think that's really what the Azzurri are lacking. Because if you look at the youngsters now for the Azzurri, they're not as plentiful as they've been the past decade.
We have it. We don't play it.
I
Wayne,
think
let me say something, and then
yeah.
I'll let you speak, Wayne. Guys, mark my words. Today's the 27th, right? Of
20 March 27.
March 27.
Yeah.
Watch Barcelona.
Yeah, they have great youngsters.
Watch Barcelona. Look who's the coach. Xavi.
Yeah.
Xavi never coached at a national level. He just was in Qatar. I don't know what he was before. He was playing over there. He coached for a little while. He comes back. He's been given the key. I said, this is the key of the team. Do what you're supposed to do. And do it with your heart. And that's what he did. The guy didn't come. Actually, he's losing money. Xavi is losing money as we speak right now. He took the Barcelona team. He cleared it all up. He got rid of all of this excessive, highly demanded, salary-wise player. He wiped them all out. Barcelona is going to be the Barcelona that was under Xavi, Iniesta,
Busquets.
I mean, Busquets is almost done too,
Yeah.
but it's one of the few,
Exactly.
the one left.
Yeah.
Barcelona is going to repeat what they did 10 years ago, and at the national level and at the club level. Barcelona, they are on the right track. They are investing into the youngster again. They bring them from the youth into the first team immediately. They plug them right there immediately. They didn't play well the first 2-3 games. Now Barcelona, you try to play Barcelona right now. They will destroy you.
Forget it.
They will destroy you. So again, why can we not copy Barcelona? This is the natural things. You know the quality of your player. Little by little, bring them up. There is always a curve, a learning curve. You know you're not going to go straight like this. You're going to go like this in the beginning, few up and down, few hiccups, and then you're going to start to take
everything takes
up.
time if it's a serious project.
I didn't invent this law. We all went to school. You know that on every business, there is always the starting, there is a little stuff.
Project.
And then the project. And then if you play your card the right way, then this project is gonna pay up big dividends.
Yeah, and people think that projects are just one straight line up. No, unfortunately, sometimes projects go down. It's like the stock market, right? Sometimes there's dips, but overall, over a period of time, it will grow and it will keep getting better. So the FIGC, the Azzurri, they need to have this type of patience when it comes to a project, knowing that if you play young players, that sometimes things are not going to go as you thought. But overall, what Anto is saying, that it's going to pay dividends, that overall Italy will be in a much better place. And one thing that just crossed my mind is the majority of players in Serie A, where do they come from? They come from the outskirts of Torino, of Milan, and Rome.
Bergamo's got a great youth system.
And Bergamo. But then there's so much of the country that's not being utilized.
In the south, there's a huge.
Well, the south
South's a huge
wing,
part.
we lack structures.
Structure. And we need federal
You gotta
development.
understand that between the north and southern Italy, there's a huge difference. We're 20 years behind.
And that's unacceptable.
We're lacking structures. A lot of people said that the Campania region, Napoli, the Napoli-Campania region, is the Argentina of Italy. They produce a lot of players, talented players, street
Fantasy,
players,
street
just like
ballers.
Calabria and Sicily. But a lot of these players, they get lost along the way
Yes.
when they reach, certain age,
Yes.
cultural issue, and all that growing pains. And all that. So
They don't have the
get lost.
resource.
Wait,
They don't have the
one-
resources like the
But a
North.
lot of
what?
these
I
players,
gotta-
they go in the north.
Ludo.
The family, they leave.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
go to
Ludo.
Empoli, they go, and that's where they grow.
Ludo, I grew up in Italy, Wayne. Because everybody, all of the guests at FTV, they probably knew that I was 28 when I came over here. But in Italy, we do not have the college system that United States has. In the United States, to be noticed at the national level, you fish from colleges. Football, you're starting from colleges. Basketball, you're starting from colleges. All of we do not have those structure in Italy. We have colleges, but we do not have sport college. You do not play for AC Milan,
Yeah, you play for your
Università,
club, and then you grow
Università
within your
della
club.
Sapienza, like the Roma, or the UAV di Venezia, or I don't know, what's the famous university in
We get
Venice?
the point. We get it.
What's the point? The point that I'm trying to make is in America there is a structure. I'm not trying to say that we're not capable to create this structure, but in Italy
It's different.
it was not needed because everybody plays that game. Everybody grows up playing on the street, get their knee all bloody, because this is what we have on our system. That's what we love to do. That's what our great grandparents and parents and the future generation will do. But I'm going to try to open the door. They said, hey, look at the structure that United States and other countries they have. Start something. Start something, especially if they don't want to fish from the youths, from the under 23, under 21. No, we have the Viareggio. The Viareggio is becoming, I don't know, it's becoming some sort of before it was one of the most important youth tournament. Right now, I don't see this kind of a passion anymore. I don't see it.
It's like a regular tournament.
Yes.
Special.
Yes, before it was the showcase of the world. Oh, we're going to go to Viareggio now. You barely hear about it. We have to start to reinforce, to bring those youths and the talent, because we have so many. Wayne, you will not believe it. We have so many, not because I'm Italian, so many.
But it's a system, Anto, that needs to change.
Improve.
Even these players, the Totti that started playing when they were young, 16, 17 years old. It took a coach that had guts.
Fish them
and
from the
say,
street.
No, it's not. He had to go against the club and say, oh, this guy deserves to play in Serie A. Like Totti, for example, Fascetti, when he was in Rome. Right, this guy has to play. Mialovic with Donnarumma.
Fascetti was with Cassano. Fascetti was with Cassano, by the way.
No, but also who was with the Totti that discovered Totti?
The other old man over there.
I can't remember his name.
I
I can't remember his name. He was young.
He just had his
was very young.
birthday.
And he had to fight the club. He had to fight the management, the owners.
Not Zeman. No, it was not
No,
Zeman.
no.
It
You're
was
going to
the other
put
one
this
before him.
player, 70 years old in Serie A? Oh my God. He goes, no, he has to play. So going again, you have to take a stand
Look,
sometimes.
Zaniolo, for example. Zaniolo is another one. Inter never
Even
pay attention to him.
Insigne, before he landed in Napoli was his fourth, fifth choice. He went to the north, and they told him, no, you're too short.
Yeah.
Torino, Inter, he went to a
Pescara,
couple of...
Insigne, Verratti e Immobile.
Then they went back to Napoli,
Zeman,
and
under
the
Zeman.
Napoli coach took him. But before he went to Napoli, from Napoli, he went to the north, and he was, they told him no. 3-4 clubs told him no because he was too short. Then he went to the south and back to the south because he had no other choice. And they told him, okay, we'll take you in Napoli.
And how many players get lost like that?
Oh, thousands.
Absolutely.
So many.
Thousands.
So many.
Some players, they
that's
get
a
the
shame.
first no.
That's the biggest thing.
And, their
It
morale
breaks
goes
them.
down. It breaks
It
them
breaks
and they
them.
give up. Oh, I'm not good at it because
Thousands.
Torino told me no or another club told me no. I'm going to quit and get a job.
When's the last time a player came from Palermo, Bari, or even somewhere in Calabria?
I mean,
big
Castro Villa is the
player.
last, but a big player. Yeah, it's very tough. But I do believe
great
that
player.
there should be.
But they're there.
They're
They're out there.
Yeah, they understand. Yes.
I definitely think they do need better scouting systems and better resources too in the
The
south.
scouting,
I
is
do
the, Mike,
feel like
the scouting is there. It's
not as much that in the north though.
the big clubs.
Tanto.
They are afraid of plugging something that is not
Mazzone.
100% ready. They want somebody that is already proven and it is ready to go. They don't want somebody to develop and starting to put in minutes, starting to give them 15, 20 minutes, half an hour.
Mazzone.
Mazzone. That's it.
We ain't got
That
it.
was it.
He just celebrated his 85th birthday the other...
Carletto Mazzone.
Yeah, that's a guy who never took any BS from anybody against the owners. He would fight the system, the owners. No, I do what I say. You don't want? Okay, I leave. No problem.
But guys, I think we definitely talked a lot about the underlying problems of the Azzurri. What went wrong for Italy not qualifying again. And
but it's a system issue, Mike. It's not just the Azzurri.
That's what I'm saying.
The Azzurri is part of the cake.
100%.
Part of the.
I was just highlighting.
It's a system.
I was just highlighting a few things. But before this podcast, I did ask you guys for the next. If you guys were the coach for the Azzurri, basically, what would your starting 11 be for now to the near future? Does anyone want to go first, and we can go one by one?
I'll go.
Anto, you want to go first?
I'm shameless.
You're shameless.
I have no.
So Anto, you're the head coach right now of the Azzurri.
Yeah.
Tell us first your formation.
I wish I was their coach.
We'll play make believe.
It's this day, right?
Well, yeah,
March
from this
27th.
day. Yeah, whatever. From this day forward.
This day forward.
Yeah, this day forward. Yeah.
Okay, I've wrote it down.
What's your formation first? Talk in the mic, please.
The formation is the formation that AC Milan is playing, because I think it's a spectacular formation. It's a 4-2-3-1. Okay, and my players are those. Okay,
you got to talk in the mic though.
Okay,
Anto.
Donnarumma, of course, is the goalkeeper, even though he's responsible for the goal that we got. They scored against us. I think he's responsible. I don't care. I mean, I love Donnarumma, but it
was a tough shot.
He's responsible, and I have Cranio as his natural sub. The center defender, like Mancini did it the right way. I mean, Mancini did it the right way. He put Mancini and he put Bastoni. Yes. On the right hand side, I put Di Lorenzo, and I put Calabria on the left, because Calabria can play both.
Calabria, you're switching him.
But Calabria can play both. So I put even Florenzi as a backup for either one.
Okay.
So now on the middle, I have Barella. I love the Barella. Barella is one of my favorite players.
Okay.
Unfortunately, was not
when
healthy.
He's healthy, absolutely.
Yeah. Barella and Tonali right there in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I will have maybe as a sub, I would put Verratti. But Verratti for me is not a starter.
Okay.
And Verratti, to me, he doesn't have the quality of somebody that can point the opponent, and he plays vertically the way I like to see them play.
Okay.
So Verratti will be just as a backup, as non-starter, but he's a quality player. He develops a lot of volumes, and he does very well in the midfield, but he doesn't have the quality that I wanted to see for somebody starting. I know I have an offensive-minded idea.
Okay.
And then
your trident up front. There are three.
The three up front that I would start would be Berardi on the left, Zaniolo on the middle.
Berardi on the left, so switching him also.
Yeah, no. Berardi. I'm sorry, on the right.
On the right.
I have it just on the middle. So Berardi is playing right, Zaniolo right next to him, right on the trequartista. And Raspadori will be, and then Scamacca will be the.
Interesting.
Will be the forward.
Ludo, do you want to go next?
No, I don't want to go next. No, I agree 90% with Antonio. The only thing I disagree is Verratti. I think if Verratti, just like in PSG, if he's put in the right position and with the right formation and the right players in front of him and the scheme of play, I think Verratti, to me, he's a genius. He knows the game, he knows how to play, but he has to be put in that position to play, because he does perform in PSG.
Yeah.
And he does have that international exposure, even though PSG does not get far. He does play with quality players, even though the league in
non è un palleggiatore, però Ludo. It's not a palleggiatore. It's not capable.
No, but he can be in the midfield.
You don't learn that.
Why are you convincing him?
No. But I think you need someone that gives orders, that gives the balls, and that gives orders. Barella I also see in the midfield. Zaniolo I do see there. I like this player from Verona, Cancellieri. I would love to see him. Very good. Take on a man 1v1. Very creative. I think Politano deserves a chance, and then Scamacca in the middle, and of course Chiesa on the left. Chiesa paid dividends for Juventus right away in Serie A, going from Fiorentina to Juventus.
I totally missed
and he
Chiesa.
also paid dividends. I mean, in Champions League, because I like that
Dynamic,
aggressiveness, that attitude that he put, that anger, that fire in his eyes, that he could take on a man, 1v1, Zaniolo. And I see also Pellegrini being the next
Well, I had them as a sub. A lot of them I didn't name them because I had them as a sub.
Wave of players. I like the player that Wayne and I were talking about before from Udinese.
Udogi.
Yes, he plays the center, I believe.
Yeah.
Very physical, very aggressive. He also deserves a chance. But again, you could change coach, you can change a couple of players, but overall,
Guys,
I see as a system.
What's your formation?
I didn't mention my subs. Like the natural sub for some of them will be Spinazzola, Pellegrini, and Locatelli. So
that's fine. We don't have to go too crazy on it.
For me, the three in the front, it would be Berardi, Scamacca, and Chiesa in the front. On the bench, Cancellieri, Politano.
Yeah,
but
that's
this now begs this question that you asked.
Yeah.
It begs. Who do you don't want in Italy playing for Italy? And this is my list. I'm going to go very quickly through. Okay. I don't want to see them wearing the Italian national jersey again.
But okay.
But I'm going to tell you. I'm going to ask my question, Antonio. Who you don't want to play for the Italian national? You don't want to see when you're watching a game. Antonio, who is it that you don't want to see?
Wait, Anto. Before you say, I just want to add to that. Yeah. You know how they say, okay, the 23-man lineup, the national team coach is gonna announce. Instead, Anto, who don't you want on that Azzurri?
Okay.
That's what Anto's gonna say over.
You mean they're done? Their cycle is over, and they should say goodbye.
They say goodbye. Bonucci, goodbye. Chiellini, arrivederci. Jorginho, goodbye. Joao Pedro, he never played. Don't bring him in.
He did play a couple minutes.
Belotti, don't play, please. Okay, Immobile, go somewhere else. Come to play on Bay 8. And Insigne, go to Toronto. No more. I don't want to see those guys.
Did you mention Immobile?
What? Immobile. I did.
Okay. He's on Bay 8.
I think I agree that. How old is Belotti, Mike?
I'll double check. He's got to be late 20s for sure, right? 28, 29, I'm assuming. He is 28, yes.
Wrap this up for Belotti.
Well, I don't think wrapped up, Wayne. I would love to see Belotti on a different team that actually play, and healthy, of course, to play on a different team that competes for something at the European level. And I feel this is his last contract because he's done with Torino. Yeah. They don't know if they're going to re-sign him. Yeah. But if he has an opportunity to go on a team that actually will play in European competition, I would love to see what he can do the next couple of years. You know, when you have that you want to taste something, that you want to, you have that flavor that you want to, I would love to see what he can do.
But what team would he fit in, Ludo? Fiorentina have two strikers right now. Who would go for him?
But Ludo, I don't get it. Listen to me, Ludo.
Because Mike,
what is it that you're going to learn now? What is it that you're going to learn that you haven't learned?
This is also, to my understanding, the level of Serie A compared to, Roma, Abraham as a forward. Yeah. Napoli, Osimhen. Then you have Juventus, you have Vlahovic. Inter, you have Dzeko.
You got two.
And Milan, no offense, who leads Serie A currently, has two forwards that are 83 years old combined. Yeah. And Giroud, who starts for Milan, was the third forward in Chelsea. Am I correct, Wayne?
Yes.
Did I say everything correct?
Yeah,
so that tells you the level of.
Yeah, but Ludo, you mixing bananas with broccoli.
The
banana is a fruit.
I'm talking overall.
Broccoli is a vegetable.
In the level of
ascoltami, Ludo. If Belotti hasn't learned, he hasn't developed the skills that is needed for him to be a nasty striker. He hasn't learned it up to now. What makes you think that in a different team is going to be different? He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. It's either you have it or you don't.
It's not
end of the story.
Ando, it's also a coach that has to put you in that situation, that has to understand your weak points, your strong points. You have to understand where you need to improve.
There's factors.
And, right.
There's
factors.
Where you can improve? You cannot improve at that age, Ludo. You can't.
We got a perfect example in Napoli. Mertens. Look, I mean, I hate to talk about Napoli all the time because people think that.
Right.
Mertens, okay? Mertens, we knew him for one position. And now, Napoli, the guy got hurt. Milik got hurt. So now, Sarri started scratching his head. Boom. He created...
false nine for him.
The false... How many goals did... He's the leading scorer of Napoli of all
history.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it's an
also coach
exception.
that
It's
needs
an
to
exception.
It
understand.
depends, though. There's a lot
You know,
of factors.
how
to
can
this.
you-
It's not just
You're
on and off.
you're looking for a needle in the haystack, and this is probably.
But that's
Mertens.
what that is why we
So-
all saying that Mancini should go, because he saw the problem. The problem has been there since July.
And it didn't fix.
The
It
lack
didn't
of
do anything.
scoring,
Yeah.
and put
Yeah.
this team based on the players that you have and who's in shape and who's not, to put this team in the position to win and score more goals and create something, just like we said with Inter last week in the podcast, that Inzaghi lacks that inventiveness, lacks that.
So you did speed
creativity
out.
to
You
change.
did speed out your 11 starter and the rest.
I
right?
did.
No,
Well, he
Wayne.
did say.
Wayne, speed yours. Come on.
Wayne,
All right,
what are you
I
thinking?
think I'm gonna make a lot of people shake their heads, but just listen to me for a moment. Anyone out there? Okay, so this
What's
one,
your formation?
It's all about growth. It's a 4-3-3 could collapse into a 4-2-3-1. It's offensive.
Okay.
So we start off, it's got to be, for me, either Luca Pellegrini, if he steps up to the plate, or Di Marco, a player that I think has been really underrated by Inzaghi this season. I think he could have done a lot better with him. A very high ceiling for him. My captain is Bastoni. He has to be the platform for what Italians need to be. He symbolizes this new wave of Italy and what is required of them, because I think he has a lot of those attributes, that skill set, to really become an elite player. And I don't see many other elite players in the mix. Partnering him is Mancini, Gianluca Mancini. And then as a sub between them, I want to see what Lovato can do, what he's
Okay.
going to grow into.
That's a good one.
For right back, this is the only position I'm a little bit confused, because I haven't seen a really good right back step up. Calabria is already 25. I kind of know what I'm going to get from him. Florenzi, I'm going to get to the people that are arrivederci for me as well. But going forward, the right back for me is a mystery still. That player is yet to reveal himself.
Okay. That's
My
fair.
defensive midfielder is Tonali for sure. Subbed by Samuele Ricci, who I think is going to be a pretty good player in the future. And my Verratti, to me, is the most quality player of the team. He is somebody who can dictate a match, but that there's something to be said for the players around him. Verratti is not the guy who will come into a team and change it. He's the luxury you add when you already have a very good team.
The cherry on top.
He's the cherry on top. Exactly. To the right in this three-man midfield is Barella, but I want to see what Fratesi can do as well. Maybe Barella keeps having these, plus 50 game seasons.
Sassuolo, right? Fartese. Yeah,
From-
I like him. Yeah,
He's
well.
solid.
It's worth seeing, because we have to remember these are young players. These are guys who are going to grow. It's not just for today, and that has to be the vision. There has to be that understanding. But Barella, if he keeps up with these 50-plus game seasons, I'm not sure. Nobody can be absolutely sure that he's going to recover and be what we know him to be, because we know he is such a quality guy.
You got to have a quality sub for Barella.
Yes.
That gives you equivalency
For sure.
on the field.
Because you know that Inter is going to play him every single game that they
Yeah.
can.
Work him
Correct.
to death.
Yes. My front three is pretty much in line. However, my sub for Scamacca is Sebastian Esposito, who plays at Basel
Wow.
on loan from Inter.
That's a big one.
He just scored a goal in Europa League.
No. What's
I like him. I like the way that he just takes off. He's fast. He has a good eye for a goal. To me, I think he's going to be a special player in the future. So when we talk about youngsters that need chances, he's somebody that needs to be brought back to Italy.
Wow, Wayne, I admire your starting
the other
11
two-
a
the other
lot.
two- what are the three?
because-
The three you
What about
chose
the
at
other player for Inter that did really well in the U20 European Cup that
Striker?
belongs to Inter?
Satriano?
Bonazzoli?
No,
Piemonte.
Piedimonte. What?
Yeah.
He belongs to Inter.
Piemonte.
He's an Inter player. He's a trequartista.
Oh,
too.
that was that Empoli?
No.
Pinamonti, you're thinking?
Pinamonti, yes.
He did really well in the U20 a couple of years ago.
Pinamonti.
So the three, your 4-2-3-1.
So that's my center forward.
Yeah.
On the left, I have a Raspadori, who comes in as like this inverted winger / trequartista. He has to be playing a little bit more to the center. He's not a racehorse that you could just put on the wing and he's going to
No.
go up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
down. No, he has to play a little bit more central. But his starting point, as when we talk about tactics and formations, what we see on paper is not really how it's played, right? They're moving. These are
Exactly.
fluid formations. And on my right, I have Chiesa, pending his fitness, that he comes back to be the Chiesa of old.
100%. Right.
But then Zaniolo, a player who's not afraid by any means to take on players 1v1 and cut through the middle. He still has much to grow, but it's so important to remember that for the past 2 seasons, he hasn't played. He hasn't developed the way that Chiesa has, or any other really good striker or player in Italy, because he hasn't had that time under his belt. So when people scrutinize him, I'm like, are you kidding me? He hasn't had the chance. He's coming back from 2 major injuries to his legs. He's put on a lot of muscle, though. And yes, at times he's made the wrong decision, but this is also for club level. This is a team that's in transition. This is, we use that word project very much. And I'll say it again, you need to give projects time. Sometimes, like the stock market, there's going to be dips. But overall, I think Zaniolo, for me, is that one player who can turn a match on its head. If it's up to him and he wants to do it, he will. And I think Zaniolo is a player absolutely for the Azzurri future. Yes.
He needs to be off social media.
Yes, he does.
He needs to think more about the field and not social media.
But I believe in him.
But otherwise, I do.
I really do believe in him that for the future, he's going to be the guy. I also want to see Daniele Verde incorporated into the Azzurri fold. Why? Because he's a good winger who will get the ball and look to make something. He will put the cross into the box. He will take a player one-on-one. And why shouldn't he be? Because he's not a fuori classe? Because he's not the next Roberto Baggio? No, that's not enough. He's a player who goes out and fills his role, does exactly what he needs to do, and he creates scoring opportunities and big chances. Get quick. That guy into the national team.
At Spezia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's doing great. They're number 10. Is he?
Yeah.
He is.
From Roma's Primavera.
Wow.
Just another reason to like him more, though. So, for me, you get rid of my arrivederci are Jorginho. Immobile can rent a room in the turf. What do you call it? The turf closet. Yes. He can score goals back there. I'm sorry, Ludo. Berardi is done for me.
No.
Oh, Berardi, really?
He's done. He's a sacrifice. A sacrificial lamb.
Ludo's crying right now.
I don't agree. I
don't agree with him either, though.
I'm not thinking about the next.
I love Berardi.
It's okay. I'm gonna beat the living shit out of you. I'm gonna beat the living crap out of you after the podcast is over.
No, I love him too, but I'm not thinking about the next 18 months. I'm thinking about the next 24 and 36. And to me, I don't see him replicating this season again. I think he's at his peak. He's also why is he not playing for Juventus? Why is he not playing for a big team?
You know,
there
would
has
be a big
to be
fit
something
for him.
There.
Napoli would be a big fit for him.
Yes,
for him.
definitely.
I think that city, that team, that style of play. I think if Berardi goes to Napoli, he can grow a lot.
But
100%.
I just want to say it quickly. Are you guys
They're
saying just
too.
because he's not on a top 4 team
No,
that he's not good enough?
No.
No.
Put him on my starting lineup.
Against to your resume, to the exposure. I want to touch 2 players that I wrote them down also on my way here. That
Wayne is done.
Ricci, Torino.
He brought Ricci.
Started. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say started 1 game out of the last 7.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I looked at what he had before he transferred,
no, I agree, but he's a great player. Why is he starting 1 out of 7? That's the point that we were
and
talking
they just bought
about
him.
before.
So why did they do that to him? They
Correct.
bought him to be a replacement.
Then I have Lovato, I have Rovella, and
Rovella,
I have
yes.
Carnesecchi.
I like
They all have about 10 games with the under 21. Then I also have Mori, under 20, but he plays in Catania, in Serie C. And then I love this Cancellieri. I think he could be the next Chiesa. Same style of play, same style. He's a 2002 Cancellieri. And this guy from Cremonese, Ochidi, from Cremonese, that I also like. Central defender from Cremonese, Ochidi. Very good, stack, tall, aggressive. But he is owned by Atalanta.
Ooh.
And Luca plays in Pisa, Luca that
players.
plays in Pisa too is another great player.
See what he does next season.
Yeah.
You're saying Lorenzo Luca, right?
Yes, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Luca, Pisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Luca
he's
and
no
Moro.
longer scoring for Pisa.
Yeah.
He scored before Pisa.
Well,
he's not
maybe
scoring.
the system is.
I have all these plays written down.
He knows he's out though.
Luca had
He's
a
joining
good
Sassuolo.
first half of the season and he dipped a little bit.
Correct.
But you guys had very good lineups. Wayne,
We did our homework today.
We
Mike.
did very well too. I like how Wayne looked not just the near future, but he looked beyond the future, which is
It's a project,
which is
like
a
you
very
said.
good.
Yeah.
He was
You're gonna have
looking at
hiccups
the
along the
project
way.
for
There's
sure.
other players. I mean, Frabotta,
Portanova, Calafiori. There's so many.
Who mentioned Cranio?
Me.
Anto.
I thought that was I didn't write that down originally. I think we just think
Spectacular
Donnarumma.
goalkeeper, spectacular Cragno. Cragno's
Yeah,
got quality.
He gets bombarded almost.
Yeah,
almost
poor
every
guy.
week. The poor guy gets bombarded.
He probably gets the most practice though out of all the goalkeepers. If you think about
but
it.
do we just give Donnarumma the number one based on precedent?
Well,
That's
Donnarumma.
not what this is about.
Well, Donnarumma is still young, Wayne.
Yes, he's a kid.
You still have to just give it to Wayne because I'm so angry that he didn't make that save. But nevertheless, I'm not gonna punish someone. This is one of the top two, not three, the top two goalkeeper in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a number one,
So
but that's why I'm so angry because if it wasn't just one of the top five,
Anto,
but I know it's one of the top two.
what do the other Italian goalkeepers have to do so they can get a sniff over Donnarumma? In your opinion,
It's
like
not easy.
is their career over pretty much if you want to play for that
No.
Azzurri?
'Cause I don't think
if
that's fair.
That's why
They have the show.
But that's why I agree with
Cragno-
Wayne a little
but
bit.
Cragno
What do
is
they
one
have
of
to
the
do? What does Meret have to do? What does Cragno have to do? to
Meret
get a
doesn't have the
sniff?
quality. Cragno
Okay,
has
but
it.
I'm just saying
You basically need continuity, Mike. You have to be.
How difficult is
And
that?
leadership too.
Yeah, you have to be.
Get
You
on
have
a
to
great
play the
team.
back.
Continuous. You
as
have
well.
to be on
Mike,
a
you have to be
pressure,
able to play
handle
the
pressure
ball
really well.
from the feet, from the build up, from the back. This is the new culture of soccer. There is not
The
put the ball
goalkeepers
on the
of today
tee
are players,
and just
regular
hit
But
the
let's
ball.
let's be realistic. How likely is that from happening? From Donnarumma in the next 20 years not being
Well, he has to show. He has to be. Listen, Mike. A goalkeeper of that quality can go straight down.
It's very hard though.
Can go straight down.
It's very hard.
If they get
Especially
something
for a
wrong
goalkeeper.
inside their heads, Mike, they can go straight down.
It's not like a striker that he's cold. For goalkeeper, it's harder to lose that position, I think, personally, for that part. So I'm just saying it's very difficult for the upcoming Azzurri Italian keepers that they want to represent Azzurri because Donnarumma's going to be almost, unless he does some crazy stuff where he's
The
not going
next
to be
10 years he's gonna be there.
the
It's
starter.
easy.
It's going to be very tough. I'm just saying that it's a good problem to have for Italy.
And also
you know?
for Donnarumma, I think Donnarumma's future in on the national team depends on his PSG career.
Yeah.
Whether he knows that he's the starter, well, he knows that he's important, he knows that he's part of the project, and he knows that he's part of their future. That brings confidence to a goalkeeper that he knows, okay, I'm here to stay. This is my spot. This is my net. I play for PSG. Now, when I go on the national team, I'm fully concentrated because people believe in me.
Exactly.
And I believe in myself.
Guys,
That's
one
the
thing,
bottom
Mike,
line.
this is very important. Ludo just brought that up, and Wayne did it before too.
You didn't bring it up.
No, you did.
No.
Okay. So Ludo is basically opening the door to this discussion that can be just can be summed in few words. We in Italy, we are slave of degli agenti dei calciatori. Raiola is one of them. We have right now. We are under siege. We just been under siege
With the manager, with the
agents.
manager of
With
the
the
agents of
agents.
those players.
Yeah.
Now we are
There's
here
bigger problems,
crying.
I think.
We've been crying that
It
we don't
goes
have
under
the youths
umbrella
being
of
used.
The bigger problem.
Listen to me, please. We are crying that we're not using our youths, and the top talent that we have right now from the very young age, their agents, they have a market for them that is not in Italy. It's on PSG. It's in Chelsea. It's on Real Madrid. It's everywhere else except for Italy. We have to stop that. So I said, you have a talent. You have in Italy, you have to play the first 10 years minimum. You have to sign. There is no way that you're going to be leaving this country just for the money. And this is what something that is going to have to be. Everybody, all the club manager, all the ownership, they have to sit down and they have to say, hey, here is Serie A. This is calcio. This is what we wanted to do. This is because we are looking on the long term. We wanted to be the leadership the way we were 20 years ago at Italian national level and into the world, because we are the top 3 teams into the world that did historically so much. And that's why another way to do it is to do that.
I didn't give my starting 11 yet.
Oh, okay.
Then wait, I want you to respond to that.
Yeah.
I will.
Go ahead, Mike.
There's bigger problems.
No,
than
don't
that,
put Manolas on the starting
One-
11, please.
I'll say one sentence.
Yeah.
It's drastic, but hard times make great men.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so my starting 11 would be a 4-2-3-1 also. Copying Antonio. Well, I had this before, even before Antonio, so he's copying me if anything. Donnarumma is going to have to be in just because it's the principle at this point, right? Can I put anyone else? I can't put anyone else.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
All right. Yeah.
Not without facing
We're not
the
disagreeing
guillotine.
with you.
I
can't,
know.
yeah.
I'll throw Cranio in there just to be different. Calabria, right back, just because he's the best one. Mancini, Bastoni, I think have to be the center back partners. I was looking for another, I was looking at the center backs that Italy have, and I was really surprised that they're the only two capable center backs that the young Italians that Azzurri have, and I was like, whoa, I must be missing someone.
Yeah.
I looked throughout all the teams. Those are literally the only younger Italian center backs, and first of all, that's a huge problem. Because in the back of my head, I was like, oh, there's probably dozens I could pick from.
No.
And there's only those two, and I was so shocked by that.
And let me be clear, Mancini is not a top tier center back.
I would put Bastoni as a top tier.
Better. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Way
saying?
better.
Then I was like, whoa, there's no one else but Mancini?
You gotta check.
Especially
Those are the two
you-
toughest positions.
But for
on the-
Italy,
on the
it used to be the
Stuck.
surplus.
Oh, we're stuck.
Well, right, because they
You
were
know what I'm
most
saying?
likely
We
from
were
the same
stuck.
team, so they
Yeah.
were husband and wife. They knew each other
Like
really well.
Like Bonucci and Chiellini, how
Correct.
it's been
Husband
for
and wife. Then you
for
already know what
millennials.
the other guy was going to do at
Exactly.
any given time.
But I just want to say I was extremely shocked by that. I was like, whoa, those are the only two real
We're
options.
not shocked. Don't worry, Mike. You guys, go ahead.
My next one, left back. This is for the near future. He's not going to be for the future. For the future, I probably put Calafiori because I liked him a lot. He still needs playing time though. But I put Spinazzola to be
I
honest.
should have thought of that.
You forgot about him?
Yes.
Come on, Roma product too. You forgot.
I have
Wait.
Spinazzola
You're gonna
over here.
get killed for that.
I
Like,
got
I had him
Spinazzola.
too, Spinazzola, as
but
part of the,
I put
as part of the project for
Spinazzola.
the future.
He's reaching his 30s, but regardless, I don't like Biraghi for the Nacional. I don't think he's quality enough for me personally to be starting there. So if everyone's healthy, obviously Merid, I put Spinazzola there. And for the future, there's a few other ones like Juventus's. Who was it? Who was Juventus' left back? I keep forgetting his name, man. I always forget it. Allegri played him all the time when he was.
The Shield? Portanova. No. I know what you're talking about.
Crap. I'll go back to this.
When this year Allegri played
No,
him?
it was like 2 years ago. He was so.
But he wasn't there 2 years ago.
The last time he was in charge.
All right.
Whatever. We'll
figure
go
that.
back to that. My holding midfielders would be Tonali and Verratti. I think they would have to be there. I think Verratti playing in that deeper position, he does a lot of work. He's a workhorse. He'll break a lot. And I know Anto maybe not be the biggest fan, and he doesn't take those shots. Playing deeper, I think it suits him better because he recovers the balls. He's physical.
But he needs the right
and he can
orchestra
set-
around him.
He does. He does
In
need the
order
right
for him
players
to-
around him.
agree.
So I want to keep him there. My right mid, I gotta give it to Chiesa. That guy's a game changer for the Euros, for Italy, for Juventus. He's great. I have to put him there. Left mid, I gotta put Raspadori. A lot of people saying he's not ready, and yeah, I agree. Maybe he's not ready yet, but at Sassuolo, he shows a lot of promise. He's still very raw, but I think he can grow into that player that Azzurri need. He's quick. He's dynamic. He's not scared. He does those tricks. He's explosive. He doesn't do lateral. He attacks the center. He does a few tricks. He's quick. He has
center of gravity.
Low center of gravity. And I think with more minutes, he's not ready for a big team. He needs another season or two at Sassuolo to really develop his skills and his goal scoring. But he's doing great work over there. So I put my faith in him. That was more of like, I hope he could become something because I see something special in him. Zaniolo as a trequartista.
Wow.
I'm going to put him behind the striker over here.
So you
a lot of people,
you copy me.
You put him
technically.
too?
You did.
I like Zaniolo. A lot of people put him on the wing, but I think centrally he is better.
If he's healthy,
because-
he has that explosive speed.
Exactly.
Right in the middle.
And
Ludo.
he knows how to take a shot on
Why
that.
he went on the stands on Thursday, I have no idea.
But out
You
wide,
know how he's
out
going.
wide,
I
I
have no
feel
idea.
like he's being wasted a little bit. I don't think he's a striker, but behind the striker, I think personally from watching him, I think that's where his abilities would be best at. And obviously hoping he stays injury free. He can learn a lot under Mourinho and that building Roma squad. So I'd put him there. And me, the striker, I'm gonna have to give it to Gianluca Scamacca. I gotta give it to him. He's another one of those players that he's not 100% yet, but he has that killer instinct instinct that you can't really teach. That's something that's born into you. Something I see into like a Balotelli, a player like that. He'll put the ball in the back of the net, and he's not scared who he's playing against. He scored against the bigger teams in Serie A.
These guys, they smell the net.
He does. He knows how to take free kicks, and he's full of tattoos, so you know he's a badass in a sense too. And he's still very young. Doing with Dionisi at Sassuolo, they're building something special, and I think him and Raspadori would feed each other very well. They have great chemistry, and only playing at Azzurri would make it even better.
Don't forget that Berardi does a lot of feeding to those.
I like Berardi. I would have put Berardi, but his age was pushing a little bit.
Wayne is not high on Berardi, but I'm not going to hold it to him. I'm going to kill him.
He's still thinking about it.
I'll kill him before he leaves the podcast tonight.
But guys, we all set our starting lineups. Did anyone convince you and be like, maybe I'll take that player, put him in my starting lineup? Anything go through your head, be like, maybe I'll replace him and put him in mine?
Listen, guys, the main thing that I agree with most of what has been said over here, with few exceptions here and there, because everybody's got enough favor. They got different idea. That a lot of the players that I named over here, and I put a big X on, nobody named them anymore.
Really?
And they were part of the mainstay of Mancini. So I said, hey, why does he have to take for you to take those guys out? You know that they're not there anymore.
He has favorites.
They were great players maybe
He
before.
thought that those players were going to take them to the World Cup, and he wanted to give those guys the chance. And that the mistake that he made. He didn't take into consideration who was in shape, who was not in shape, because Mancini knew exactly how Macedonia was going to play.
Exactly.
He knew exactly how they were going to be set up on the field, the team set up, the formation. He knew exactly. And I felt that his choices were not clear and were not really thought well for that particular game. I would have gone in different direction.
Mike,
that's my opinion.
If a manager figures out how to play Zaniolo as a trequartista with Chiesa to his right, Raspadori to his left, and Scamacca at center forward,
dude, I'm buying tickets for all those games. Is what I'm saying.
Very dangerous.
Dude, Zaniolo's good, but I feel like he's not being implemented correctly. And when he is implemented, I think he's very scary. He has the tools to become a top player, and I do think the injuries were preventing that. That took a lot of time off the years he was, building as a player, which unfortunately you can't do.
You're going to hear it from here today.
Yeah,
Zaniolo will be a Juventus in the summer.
Are you sure, Ludo?
How
much more money does Juventus need to spend? They're talking about Zaniolo. They're talking about
money. They saved
Jorginho.
They saved money on Dybala. They saved the money on Dybala. Why should they invest
they're talking about Jorginho too. They're talking about Zaniolo. I can name you another 4 players.
Zaniolo will be in Juventus in
Where
the
is
summer.
the financial fair play for those people?
No, it's gone. They get these cash injections from shareholders.
There you go.
Okay, but guys, we are there is a 3rd place finish. Italy are still playing Turkey, and there's a number
for rankings.
For rankings, yeah.
Who cares about that? Give me a break.
No, I'm just saying, but
it's a bunch of BS.
It's gonna be a game of experimental.
I don't want to watch
lineup.
it.
I want to watch it just based on the younger players that will be playing, solely on that, not because
who's gonna play, Mike?
It's gonna be hard to motivate.
Who's gonna play?
Well, a lot of the
who's gonna play that didn't play?
A lot of the mature players got sent home, so I'm sure we're gonna see a
5-6 players were
You know why they were sent home? They took themselves out because they know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. So it doesn't matter if they go home. So who cares if they do go? It doesn't.
I wish Tonali would take himself out because.
Don't you want to see him play?
I wanted to see him play, but I want to see him beating the living crap of the Italian.
By Wednesday, I think this is why Mancini did not make a decision yet, because you still have a game in hand. You have to play this game. So who's going to coach this game on Tuesday? You have to finish this particular cycle, and I think on Wednesday and Thursday we are going to decide whether they're going to decide. He's going to speak with Gravina, and they're going to decide whether he stays or he.
But Ludo, let's talk about money right now. Mancini's under contract until what? Until 2020, until the end of the year, right?
He extended like last year, I believe.
So
when they won the Euros,
let's say that we want to sack him, right?
You got to pay him.
Yeah.
So you pay him. You pay to the end of the year, which will be the end of the World Cup, and then that will be it.
But you got to find. You have to find the right coach. You cannot just put a replacement there. You have to find the right coach that basically can understand and put these players that we all mentioned, this new group, new wave, new cycle, start a new cycle, and start on the right path. But again, like we said before, you could have a new coach you could have different players, but it's behind, it's, backstage that things need to change. Serie A needs to change, and they need to collaborate, and they need to have an understanding with the Italian Federation and Serie A that everyone has to be on the same page and start something. Because at this time, losing to Macedonia, to all due respect to Macedonia, Italy, I think we hit rock bottom. This is even worse than 1966 against Korea, when we were eliminated, and even worse against Sweden 4 years ago. This is even worse. And if now Serie A presidents, teams, and the Italian Federation cannot understand that they should be sitting down and implementing a solid project and follow and grow these players and start something serious, we will be back in the same situation.
Cycle, yeah.
2 years from now, 3. You can change all the coaches you want. It's things that have to change.
What's Sandro gonna
This
say?
is
Behind the desk.
something that pops on my head right now. So we have right now this Gravina and Nicolato. They might be great people, great Italian.
Nicolato is a great coach.
I know.
I like him as a coach.
But if you ask around the vast majority of people, they say, who are those two guys? Being the fact that he's a great coach does not discount the fact that a lot of people do not know what goes behind the scenes in Italy. So I
A lot
wanted
of
to
politics,
know,
of course.
Of
Recommendation.
course. I wanted to know.
Politics, of course.
I wanted to know, why shouldn't we just get a commission of great players? I'm going to name few to you: Baggio, Totti, Pirlo. I don't know, Cannavaro
Okay.
is one of
They
them.
gotta be interested.
Let's bring.
No, it's not interesting, Mike. I want to stop you one second. Baggio was hired by the federation. You know what they want him to do? To be the face
To show
of the
face.
federation
No.
and to be a pencil pusher.
Yeah, that's
It
not
was
good.
not, you're going to be hired to be technical here, technical
Exactly.
there. You're going to do nothing. What they promised him was not.
Just a face.
He left. After a few months, he said, no, I don't belong here. What was hired to do? To get this pencil from here and put it here? I'm leaving. And he left.
Yeah, get this group of not expert, of people that they've really made the history of the Italian soccer. Let them just get together. Let them have a meeting. Let's discuss. Something great is going to come out. We cannot really rely on politicians to be taking into the hands this great project. We're talking about billions of dollars, guys. We're not talking about peanuts. We can just love soccer implies that a lot of families, they work. A lot of people that take the kids. A lot of people they have it at the store. A lot of people that send in the shirts and the shoes and the shin guards. And they have to go to buy the hot dog stands. There's a lot of money involved. There's TV rights. There is so much. And here we are relying on two names that nobody knows who the hell they are. They might be great people. Gravina and Nicolato. I want
Gravina
names.
is the president of the Italian Federation.
Name the names. I wanted the names. I wanted
You want
big
the names.
In
You
Germany.
need also players. You need also players.
It's a lot of
Nicolato,
factors.
that's what he
Right.
has to pick from.
In Germany,
we just spoke about it. We
in
just
Germany,
named
they had
players.
Beckenbauer for so many years. In the Dutch, they had some of the one of the 10. I can name 10 Dutches, but I'm not gonna start here.
Fabio Capello.
Well, Capello could be one of them too, but I'm talking about there were so
I think
many.
Capello is,
Okay.
We have so many.
Capello is
When we so when I wanted those,
Capello
I wanted
is
those
done.
to take over the soccer for the love of soccer. Forget about the money, the contract, and all the stuff.
You can't forget it because that's the issue that they fight every day.
They will do it for a fee. We have
Okay.
Vieri doing all of this talk. We have Cassano doing all of this talk.
And
Just
Serie A
make
had
it-
a commissioner up to 10 days ago, and they just named the president, which is a politician, and 11 teams voted yes for this for the new
what a
president,
disgrace.
Lorenzo Cassini. 11 teams.
Who the hell is this guy?
Juventus did not vote for him, and the big teams did not vote for him.
Who is he?
But they're going to collaborate. So we were under commissioner.
What kind of a decision
We had
is
a
going to be
commissioner.
making for Italy? This guy. What decision?
But
is
he
gonna
cannot
be
make
making?
any decisions unless he has the Serie A clubs that work together. They all need to work together for the benefit of Serie A and the national
Let's
team.
take politics out of soccer. That's what my
okay.
take.
Anto,
Yeah.
Good luck.
There's definitely a lot of factors that we don't understand, and a lot of there's a lot
Politics,
of
a lot of
there's so just
Yes.
in general, not just
Yes.
for FIGC, not
Yes.
just the international football, but for the stuff that we think that we know that we think that we can control for the most part. Say Mancini, I think for the most part, everyone voiced their opinion on saying thank you, Mancini, for what you've done. Now it's time
Yes.
for the next step. Now, I know it's not easy, but just to end this podcast, throw out a name that you had in mind that you think could take the Azzurri to the next level. For me, I'm a little skeptical, but I had the Zerbi, but I'm not sure if he could do it only because his style of football is only implemented when you see these players 24/7. In a national team, when you only see these guys, sporadically a few weeks of the year.
Mancini wanted a couple of stages for the national team. They almost shot him, the president.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like that can be implemented.
No.
It's something like that. So that I think it does need some kind of caretaker, someone like a Mancini, someone like a Capello that maybe doesn't have just picks the best players, more of a manager than anything.
Maybe pick the most
a selector.
Maybe a selector. That's a better word.
This is what a national team coach is, a selector.
Because
but
it's
now you have very little time.
That's what I'm saying. The Zerbi's thing, it's not an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? Tudor's thing is not overnight. It's a whole system. And then if you're there 5 days before, you can't implement a whole system like that. This is week in, week out, season in, season out. So it's very difficult. But yeah, I would say the Zerbi just for Fanta Calcio, just because it sounds fun. But I think it's going to need a selector just like Ludo said. Someone similar to a Mancini.
Let me get you the selector.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, Wayne. I'll tell you what. People, they think I'm crazy.
Who thinks that?
Ancelotti?
Listen to me. No.
I think Ancelotti is time
that's
that
a
he
good
comes
one.
back to the national team.
I like Ancelotti.
Guys, right is in front of us. We have Totti.
Totti?
Not a coach.
We have Del Piero.
He doesn't
not
have,
a coach.
Does he have his
We
license?
have Pirlo. You don't have to be a coach. We have Totti. We have Del Piero.
You don't want to go to the next World Cup either, huh?
We have Bobo. We have Cassano.
Cassano?
You don't have to go to be to school to become a coach. Those are the people that they can select a squad. They put it over
Why are you
there.
screaming?
They put it over there and they said, hey, guys, this is how you're going to play.
So you put Cassano?
I
think
1,000%.
Okay.
I think
1,000%.
Ancelotti
That's a good
seriously,
one,
the
Bruno.
Zerbi is a great coach, but like Mike said,
He's a
he
group
needs to
that
be
we need.
around players and he studies the opponent and he gets the best out of the players. He's still young and I feel he wants to stay on the field and smell the grass on a daily basis.
Exactly.
I think for Ancelotti, I think it's time to come home.
I like that.
It's time to come home.
That's
He's
a good
been
one.
all over Europe.
He
has
won.
family in Italy. I believe he's also a
Canada.
grandfather.
He's in Canada too.
And I think he should come back home and start taking a project. But again, a guy like Ancelotti, okay, I'm going to call players. Again, he will leave because he is that type of coach that he will resign if he's promised something and it's not delivered. And if the Federation and Serie A, they keep clashing, they keep promising and not delivering, these guys, they have nothing to lose. They're going to say, okay, I'm leaving. So I think regardless of the coach, you need to have a serious project. Serie A and the Italian Federation, they need to sit down because they all see these issues. The issues are there. We see it, they see it, and they have more experience than us, and they live culture on a daily basis behind the desk and on the field. They see that we have Serie A as big issues. They need to sit down and implement a solid project. Otherwise, we will never go anywhere.
Ludo, who's Serie A? Write it down for me. Who's Serie A and who's the Italian Federation? Put names over there.
Gravina is the president of the federation, and Lorenzo Cassini is the president of Serie A that was elected 11 days ago.
Who's going to pay for this project? They're going to sit down.
They need to help about implementing rules, farm systems.
Those two guys?
It's a lot.
With the Serie A president.
It's a majority thing.
With the so now, like I said before, if only 11 Serie A presidents voted for Lorenzo Cassini to be president.
But we have 18 teams. Why we have 11 presidents?
So already Serie A is divided right there.
20
just
teams.
for Serie A rules. 20. Just for Serie A itself, we already divide. Money issue, TV rights, sponsors, how to divide the money, who gets $1, who gets 50 cents. They fight on a daily basis who gets more of the cake.
Of the dough.
So if only 11 teams, 11 clubs elected him, you don't have unity. You don't have.
I think every team in Serie A should have a vote on.
And that's why we have a
process.
Champions League in the past 12 years. That's why we never win anything, and this is why we always get our butts kicked in October.
So
Wayne, go ahead.
February.
Wayne, what do you think about
To me,
this?
it comes back to what I wrote down on this notebook in the morning. It's the philosophy. It doesn't necessarily matter who the manager is, but there needs to be this philosophy of how will they play. So that comes to the selector question. To me, that selector is Rino Gattuso. He will go out there and instill the mentality on top of the imposed philosophy, which comes from the top. And that could be a very good combination.
That's an interesting one because we know the Azzurri have the quality there, but the mentality
approach,
part
toughness.
isn't showing. We know Immobile can score goals,
Yes.
but he can't do it wearing a different shirt. Why is that? Maybe you do need some kind of motivator, someone to, rip you a new one.
Get
to
in
kind
their
of get
heads.
that. That's not a bad one either. But the thing with that is he hasn't coached almost 2 years. And I wouldn't say he lacks Gattuso.
I don't see a national team level. I would see someone like Ancelotti. I would see someone like Claudio Ranieri.
I see Ancelotti as well because he's getting older at this
Yeah,
point.
Ancelotti's a good
Time
one
to
for
come
sure.
home.
How long is he going to keep really
That's
managing?
correct.
So, like
Not
my
that
dad.
old. Ancelotti's not
Sometimes enjoy your grandchildren also.
that old. Ancelotti could be maybe lower 60s. That's what he is.
I
That's
know,
it.
but to retire as a coach,
64,
how far are you going to
double
go
check,
as a
Mike.
coach?
I think he's 63, 64.
No, but it doesn't. I think he's been all over Europe. He's
won everything.
So do something for your
62.
country.
60?
He's only 62.
Oh, wow. Almost my age.
He's not that old. Yeah, but he really has won everything. And at this point in time, if you really want to build something, Ancelotti would be a great guy for that.
And I think also you bring back Conte. To me, it's warm-up soup. You already been there.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
thinking
think
4
he
years
would
from
be-
now or
I
in the
don't think he
future.
would be a good fit for.
No.
Again, to bring back. I don't like to bring back coaches
Old
that are already
flames.
right.
The chapter's closed for that, you're
Correct.
saying. Yeah.
Yes,
Guys,
I agree.
I think for the most part, we're hitting over an hour and a half now. I think for the most part, we did have a very productive conversation from... I think one chapter ends now for that Azzurri, and I think a new one has to open with new ideas, with a new system, with a new coach, and
New
with new
project.
players, which opens up to a new project. And for most of us, we agree with a lot of stuff. Of course, we had our disputes and stuff like that. But overall, I think we're on the same wave to that Azzurri needs something fresh.
Yeah.
It's a big loss
yeah,
for Serie A.
I think that was a...
monetary-wise, image.
Exactly.
I would
it's a huge
say
loss.
to
It's a
finish
huge
up,
loss.
I would say thank you, Mancini. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Could have done a little better toward to the end of this your cycle.
I mean, he won the Euros, which is a big one.
No, I'm saying thank you to
Yeah.
him. I'm thanking him, but I think it's time for him to just leave the baton to somebody else.
Ludo, say your goodbyes to Mancini.
Okay.
Listen, I want, like I said, I want the best. I want the best.
He
for
does
Italy.
too, I'm sure.
But like
I'm sure he does,
when we talk
yeah.
about Serie A, I'm very realistic, and I repeat myself for the fourth time. Mancini, you want him to stay. You want to bring out, but again, things need to change behind the scenes,
Well said.
behind the desk. Otherwise, you could bring anyone. Things will never change.
Wayne, you want to say your final thoughts?
It's going to be difficult. Not everyone's going to be happy. Certain players who people believe that they should be there won't, because it's going to be something that has to be for the greater good.
Yeah.
Well said. And there's going to be a lot of goodbyes, I'm sure, for a lot of players. We're not going to see Chiellini there, Bonucci. I'm sure Acerbi's chapter is over too. And there's rumors of, some other players. I don't want to say the players because I don't know.
Why? Don't
100%.
worry about it, Mike. We got you covered.
No, because a lot of players do follow us, so I don't want to
really?
say anything for that
Mike,
report.
you have to be honest.
I can tell you off
But
the
we're not the
No, it's
selectors.
No,
We're
no,
not-
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not the selectors.
I know, but it's
We're
reports. No,
expressing our opinions.
there's nothing official on these, so that's why I want to
listen,
bring
the
it
fact
up.
the fact that we are saying that we don't believe that they should be playing anymore is the fact that we appreciate all they have done up to now, and this now there is a new saga. We're not blaming anybody in particular. We're putting a lot more blame on Mancini because Mancini is the one that put the
I know. I don't agree that the blame is only on Mancini.
It's
a system
big
that
one.
has cancer, and everybody
For sure.
is at everybody is at fault.
You're not naming the player. You're not doing yourself any favor. You have to just be honest and just come out.
We have hit rock bottom.
We have
and
nothing
it's time
against
to change.
anybody.
It's more than that.
We have nothing against anyone.
But before we start a whole new segment again, Wayne, thanks for coming. Ludo, Antonio,
My pleasure.
thanks for coming. I think it was a great conversation overall. And guys, let us know down in the comments below what you think and what do you think the next step for this golden Azzurro era to come back. I think that's what's needed. Ciao, guys, and we will talk to you guys for the next one.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good night.